Well, hello guys, welcome back. So I had this super intense, crazy dream I told you guys about over on Patreon. And I'm trying to explain it this morning. I have this ritual, I give myself enough time that I explain any dreams to any of the gods. I tried to explain it to Asmodeus. He went hysterical. He has been like he's broken lately, and I'm trying to comfort him where he really should have been giving me insight into the dream, just so we're clear. And, I finally decided I can't take it. And all day today, he's been trying to, like, try to shove back in because you know how he is. And he freaked me out so much, and he's been causing me so much stress that I've been having, like, these hints of this tulpa I made years ago. And I'm sorry, like, when I get stressed out, my essential tremors go haywire. But I've been getting these hints at this tulpa that I created years ago is, like, reactivating. So, full-blown reactivation today. Probably somebody commenting on a video help, but it was full-blown activation. And basically, I created this toolbar to be kind of like stress management because you can't always get to therapy or medication instantly. So, he's very specifically designed for stress management, for handling panic attacks, for stuff like that. And, the way I created this one is before I had the Spexer and everything else, I used to be able to write. And, sometimes when you create, characters, you can make them so real, you start having conversations. And I realized what I was doing is I was using magical intent. Like, to me, they're specific to their culture. So let's not be culture vultures. But at the same time, it's a lot like making a thought form. But usually a thought form is temporary, does a little simple test for you, and then, poof, they gone. This reactivated, this definitely, he has his own personality. I'm saying this because he's both a magical creation, but now his own being. So, and, Loki is, we were talking about the jealousy in today's video, which you're going to see this tomorrow, but you saw in the last video about Loki's jealousy. Loki said, you know what? I helped you create him. I helped you create the other three because there's four of them. And he said, you are reactivating them. And I said, but Loki, I made these at a very stressful time in my life. I'm like super hella worried about, are they going to bring that back? Are they perhaps going to bring back the people that were in my life at the time, which I don't want to happen? And Loki's like, no. And since the tulpas were created as, these, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. You know me in the English language. It's not even English, but you know what I mean. Anyhow, I said, I just didn't want anything bad to happen. And Loki's like, no, I want you to have them. You need them now. And, he's really mad at Asmodeus because Asmodeus really hasn't been doing his job. Some people get him and he works really well with them. And we've just been having a lot of issues together. And you give him everything he wants and then he's pissed off about it. And he's being too high maintenance. And he's trying to come today and trying to pretend that just because he has the will to be here, and just because he wants to pretend everything's fine, no, it is, and it's obviously not. We're obviously having serious relationship issues. So, the Tupla is here right now, and his job is to, one, keep Asmodeus out, and the other three may activate and basically act as honor guards. And Odin's even supporting them. And Odin's like, this is something you did. This is a magical working. You have to remember you're strong and independent, and you don't need anybody in your life that's going to be stressing you out. I don't care what kind of bond or promises you made. And this is Odin. He usually stresses me out, but not to this intent. Not to this intent that magical workings I made as a failsafe activate. And I'm like, that is a big red flag to me that these activated. And I think these tulpas were trying to come forward already to work with me. And this is where we talk about how, yes, magic works, and two, watch what the fuck you do. In my lack of wisdom, I based them on fictional characters because I thought that way I'll know that it's something I made because it won't look like anything that's real. I should have thought about this shit and, designed something totally unique. Upside is that at least I know who they are, and I know I don't need to go back on medication because they're doing exactly what they were designed to activate as guardians. It's the same thing as enchanting something, filling in. it's kind of different. It's not like feeling the spirit in something and asking it to act as a guardian, but it's kind of like feeling something. Like sometimes you'll feel something, like say gargoyle statue, and it'll feel like there's just nothing at home at all. And then you can create, like, say, a simple thought form and guard, and that's it's not like you're creating little servants to do your bidding. They're really not alive in the sense of whatever, but they will last for a while and then they're gone because they weren't really real to begin with. You made them, they acted in a real function, but if it makes you feel any better after a set period of time, tell them they can leave. If they respond that I don't want to leave, you, my friend, have a Tufla that you created, and then they can do as they will. They really don't mind doing like guardian work or whatever because it's exactly what you created them. They're part of your own will almost. To me, it's like they're almost an extension of my own will personified, which is why they're loving and supportive and they're perfectly smoking hot because I created them, and I created them to be perfect. And, and Loki's like, damn straight, and I helped. And Odin's like, I helped too, my dear. So, they look like they could be bodyguards. They look like they could mess people up. But yes, magic does work. And working with Tulpas, even though it's something that everybody's like doing or was doing for a couple years and it got kind of cringe, shit works even if people are making shit up on the internet. We all know we've read a ton of shit that people have made up, and we've all run into edgelords of every gender that are like, yeah, I have 50 of them. They're badass and they'll come fuck you up. No, they won't. You can't. It's not like you're making your own little mafia and you get to be the capo de capo and you get to send them after people. It's, they're made usually primarily as guardians, as support, as whatever. And, whatever happens between you and them, that's entirely your business. But I think the problem with the internet is stuff goes to fad status super fast. It gets super fucking overdone. It gets super diluted. And then nobody believes it was a genuine magical practice. It is a genuine magical practice. And as we are taking it out of the original setting, results are going to vary. It might just be, we're calling them toothless, but it might just be, old world witchcraft of, you're creating this being, you're taking a thought form and you're making them a little more permanent. You're giving them wills to put on the ground and you're giving them free will and agency. They're not going to do anything bad to you. They're going to have their programming. If you created them to, you just have to think of it. Think of like, I want this protector. I want this protector that looks like this. I want them to never harm me. I want them to always be fucking super supportive. I want them to have a sweet personality. I want them to look smoking hot. Whatever it is you want, you can do. You're a witch. Results will vary. And some people will say, oh, that's just fantasies you make up in your head. And it'll seem like that until they start doing stuff on their own. And then you'll be like, oh, this is actual magic, and magic actually works. I think we forget that at times because a lot of times, every time we're trying to do something, it doesn't work. I've been having Pinterest and music playlist on fire lately. Like the universe is screaming and shouting at me, like, pay the fuck attention to this, super important. And I think what the dream meant, because I found in the dream, I found these ornaments of the dragons from Dungeons and Dragons, and I was even thinking of, you know, finding a Dungeons and Dragons book, and it's been decades. I think it was like, go back to basics, go back to your creation, your creativity, go back to your Tupas for a while, let them stand honor guard, let them protect you and nurture you, and let them be plaster to you if that's what ends up happening, and just kind of rest there, because sometimes relationships don't work out, and Asmodeus has been getting more and more chaotic lately. And I'm going to say this with as much love as possible: you are not your god's therapist. You are not. They need to go to another god, a god godlier than them, if that is possible, and get their shit sorted out. You, the human, are not responsible for repairing everything that has ever happened to them. You can be sympathetic, you can be kind, you can be very loving and supportive, but you're not their fucking therapist, just like you are not the therapist to anyone you meet online. It's like, a lot of people will see someone that went through therapy, and you guys know I have been, and think you're their therapist. Oh, fuck no. You gotta go get that shit taken care of. Don't fool around with it. And in the same way, you're not the therapist to any god, demon, angel, jinn, tree outside, Buddha, whatever you're working with. If they've got deep issues to work out, they need to go away and get that taken care of. They really do. And if they can't, if it always manifests with you, then you need to take time apart. And they need to think about working on that, because you ain't their fucking therapist, and they'll put you back in therapy if you keep trying. That is where you will go, my darlings. You will be right back in fucking therapy if you try to cure somebody else. So do not do that shit. You're not goddess. You can't do this shit. I don't care if you think you are an emerging goddess. You can't just snap your fingers and cure whatever deep-seated issues they got going on. They need to go get that shit taken care of. So for me, with the toothless activating, it was definitely a thing of, yeah, you need love, you need comfort, you need to let them activate. I might even put something up on Patreon, because that was actually how I used to do it back in the day. I used to write about this entity every day, and it might be a different description or something, because they can change. You can say, oh my god, I don't like, or whatever, maybe I will, maybe I won't, we'll see. But that was how I used to empower him. And I would write about him every day, and write a little bit and write a little bit. And then I realized you are making a thought form, and you are making him magical, and you are empowering him to be your guardian. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know how long he'll last. Sometimes when you haven't worked with them in years and they reactivate, it's like they're kind of like they're shorting out and they don't last very long. And sometimes they get empowered. But if I did want him to be more powered, more oomph, I would definitely have to, one, be paying more attention to him, and two, doing whatever I did in the past I knew worked. So if I knew writing short stories worked, then that's what I do, and then that gives them the oomph. So if you have them coming back, because 2021 seems to be the year all magic is going fucking haywire, then, if you want to work with them, see how they are. Are they still in good working condition, or have they kind of broken down and the magic's just going psh, all over the place? If they're still in good working condition and you do want to, work with them, then, and I consider him like a partner or guardian. He's aware he's not here as a servant. He is free to leave as he wants. And he's like, I want to be here. So, feel free to work with them, and feel free to remember what it was that you did when you worked with them. And I know it can be scary, especially, a lot of us, we created them at times when we were in a super stressful situation. In fact, I was on medication at the time I made these. And at first I thought, oh shit. And then it's like, no, you are being super stressed out by a demon that won't deal with his emotional baggage. You can't deal with this shit, or you're going to go be in a nut house. So Asmodeus is out for a while, and the Tulpas are here, and that's what I designed them for. Whether you see them as, thought forms we have just really tinkered with, or an extension of your own will, or, separate, distinct personalities, then, whatever you see them as, they're there to protect you, to take care of you, to help you in times of need, however you design them. And these are definitely, reactivating, because that's what truly I designed them for. That if I was ever in a freak out situation again, and I have been having a lot of stress lately, and, damn near panic attacks, but not quite, um, that's why they activate it. But it is not, by the way, is not a substitution for going and seeking mental help. And I know that makes you uneasy to hear both of them, put in the same context, but, I'm telling it like it is. It's a magical thing you can do in addition to going to therapy, in addition to going on medication, in addition to doing whatever it is you're working on. Maybe it's not a mental health issue for you, maybe self-esteem issue or something else like that. It's a addition to doing the groundwork on your own. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I definitely want the Tulpas here for a while. One, because I created them to be super hot and awesome, and and to be very loving and caring and nurturing, and I need that right now. I need that shit in my life right now. I don't need panicky diva energy in my life right now. I need solid and responsible, and, setting a good foundation and reminding me of who I am. And Lokean and Odin have both been shouting, you are a witch. You do not need to put up with this. And you don't, guys. I don't know what the fuck is going wrong with 2021, but Asmodeus did this before. He would go more erratic. We would take time off from each other. I just don't think we're compatible. I think he saw something he wanted, and I told Loki, and yes, I stole this from a horror movie. I said, I think he's in love with the idea of me. You know, he's in love with the idea of me. He's not in love with the actual me. He saw what he wanted, but I am not what he wanted because he doesn't like the fact that I fight with Odin, and Odin and I yell and curse each other, and Odin starts swearing and swaying back and forth like this, like he's going to lay a heavy duty curse on me. And I say, "There's nothing you can do that's more of a curse or punishment than being married to you." And rah, and then we're fighting and metaphorically speaking, biting and punching and kicking and being dirty and saying the nastiest things we can come up with. I love that with the old man. We both fucking thrive on it because it lets us get our anger and frustration out. When the old man comes around and pick a fight, I'm usually pretty indulgent. If I don't feel like fighting, then I don't feel like fighting, but we're usually pretty indulgent with each other. And I picked a fucking fight with him yesterday because it was stressing yesterday because of what happened in the Capitol. And he goes, "It's okay. I'm the only one with balls big enough to fight with you." And look, he's like, "I'll fight with her too." And Odin's like, "Not like I will." And Odin's true. I can say the worst possible things, do the worst possible things, and Odin will just kind of look at me, and then he gets interested because it's a fight, and he gives you pointers on how to insult him more. He wouldn't give two shits with most people, but if you're one of the people he likes, he's like, "No, this is what you should be saying. This is what would really upset me." So he's funny like that. But yes, we have the Tulpas in. And I think I need them for now. Maybe for just like for a couple hours, maybe for a couple days, maybe for all of 2021, And I think the thing was, especially with it being Dungeons and Dragons and me thinking of demons, it was, look, girl, you long ago you did Dungeons and Dragons. That's probably where you got like the Asmodeus I have doesn't act like Dungeons and Dragons Asmodeus, but it was like, look, girl, if Dungeons and Dragons Asmodeus is more appealing to you than actual Asmodeus, maybe you two need to take a really long break from each other and just think about it, because you two certainly aren't working out. You are just driving each other insane. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. Got one, two, three, four of them maybe. So I will see you guys later. Bye bye.